My jealous, abusive boyfriend. It was 6 years ago. My boyfriend and I went to my work party. I introduced him to my colleagues. It was a night of bliss. I was dancing, laughing, and glad that my boyfriend was with me to share the evening. I went to get a drink when my male colleague whispered something in my ear about his boss and his secretary, so I smiled. You know when you feel like you're being watched? That's how I felt. As I looked to my left, I could see the expression on my boyfriend's face, so I knew what was coming. After all, I'd been with him for 6 miserable years, during which he put me in the hospital 4 times. When we first met, he wined and dined me. He made me feel so safe. I had a few credit card bills and he made them disappear. As we were leaving arm in arm, I was just chit-chatting with a few colleagues, trying to drag out the inevitable, because I knew what was going to happen when we got home. Suddenly, I could feel him crushing my arm. My colleagues saw the anguish on my face and asked if I was okay. I had to lie to them. I'm fine. I just have a stomach cramp. I thought to myself, this is going to be a long night. I didn't know what to expect because he's so unpredictable. Looking back, this was my opportunity to tell the truth instead of lying. On our way home, he asked me what my colleague had said. When I told him, he became aggressive. He shouted, "Don't lie to me. You're sleeping with him, aren't you?" I wasn't surprised he said that. He had said worse in the past. We got home pretty late, around 2 a.m.-ish. I started undressing to have a shower. Suddenly, he grabbed me by my hair, pushed me against the wall, head-butted me, opened the balcony door and shoved me out there. I fell to the floor. I heard the door slam shut and the key turning. I was knocking and pleading with him to let me inside. It was -7 degrees and I was only wearing my underwear. I was freezing. He suddenly appeared on the other side of the door, staring at me while sipping on a cup of tea and smoking a cigarette, whilst I was freezing my ass off. Did I mention that we're living on a farm and it was in the middle of nowhere? The nearest house was 10 minutes away, so no matter how much I screamed and shouted, no one would hear. After 15 to 20 minutes of pleading with him to let me in, he closed the blinds. He turned off the lights. I knew he wasn't going to let me back inside. The cold was so unbearable. I thought to myself, if I can make it through the night, I'm leaving him. I decided to climb down a stock pipe close to the balcony and try to make my way to the nearest house. Halfway down, I lost my grip. I fell in a prickly rose bush. All the thorns stuck into my body, but I couldn't feel it. My body had become numb from the cold. It was pitch black outside. I tried my best to get onto the path leading to the nearest house. I even started running to get warm. Behind me in the distance, I saw lights approaching me. In front, I could also see lights from a neighboring farm, which was still some distance away. I thought to myself, he's realized I've gone, and he's come to get me. But if he thinks I'm coming back, he's made a sad mistake. When the vehicle behind me caught up with me, it passed me, then turned across my path. It wasn't him. I guess the mistake was on me. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, the car door opened. The light inside the car came on, and there were 3 people in the car wearing animal face masks, telling me to get in. I felt sick to my stomach. I felt like I was choking. My eyes started tearing up. My heart was pounding. My knees felt weak, and I couldn't speak. But somehow, I murmured, "Please don't hurt me." Believe it or not, I couldn't feel the cold anymore. I tried screaming, but it wouldn't come out. I should have stayed on the balcony. Look at me half naked, easy prey for these 3 animals. I knew they were saying something to me, but I couldn't understand a word. God, please help me. In the space of no time, all 3 came out of the car. My adrenaline kicked in, and I found myself running as fast as I could. They gave chase. I must have fell over and passed out because when I awoke, I found myself in a hospital. Nurses plucking 100 thorns from my bloody body with bandages on my head, arms, and feet. I was told by the doctors that I could have died from hypothermia, and I was lucky to be alive. It turned out the 3 people in the car were residents of the farmhouse I saw in the distance. They were returning home from a fancy dress party, hence the reason they were wearing animal face masks. Oh, I almost forgot. The boyfriend, I pressed charges against him, and he was arrested and imprisoned for 18 months. for the years of abuse he inflicted upon me. Stop violence against women and girls. Can you relate? What would you do in that situation? Please leave a comment below.